BlazeBodyz! Happy Friday, everybody! It's Friday, and it's not too bad outside, although it's mid-March, so we can all expect we're going to get nailed one more time. Let's enjoy it while we can. It's been a while. I thought it would be a good time to throw out another stupid shit kids do story. And this does, of course, involve my father. And I was definitely the kid doing stupid shit. This is going all the way back to Methuen High School. I was 15 years old, I believe. Now, as kids, we all used to hang out around that time when I was 15 or so. We used to hang out in a neighborhood in Methuen called Oakland Avenue. There was various places that we'd all hang out at. One being, there was a school right adjacent to the house that we hung out at. And one night, me and about three other troublemaking kids were hanging out on the streets, just shooting the shit, being kids, doing stupid shit. And as we were there, three kids around our age or so walked by. And, I wasn't the troublemaker of the group, but I was no saint. So about 100 yards up the road, the three kids were walking down the street, and one of the kids had what we used to call a wrist rocket. It was like it had a very, very elasticy band, and you put a rock in it, and you can wing a rock pretty hard. And one of the kids, like an idiot, shot it at the three kids. Now, it whizzed right by them. They were aware of it. They immediately turned around and started walking back, and we were gonna fight. I'm not a fighter. I'm not. Back then, especially, I was not a fighter, but I was with three other kids. So I'm like, well, let's do this. So I'm standing around. I'm like, all right, let's fucking go. They're coming back. I'm like, getting all psyched up. I turn around and all three of them took off. They jumped the fence and fucking took off. And I was like, fuck. I'm not going to hang around and get my fucking ass beat by these three kids. So I took off too. That's just typical dumb, stupid things that kids do. But as the months went by, the three kids, or one of them at least, found out that I was one of the kids. And that's not good. We were in high school, and, everyone knows who everybody is. So every year they used to throw a fair called St. Monica's Fair. It was a big event. They had big tents and, a tent, with different types of foods, ethnic foods. There was, amusement type things to do. And I rode my bike to the event like I told you in the last video, I rode my bike everywhere. Locked the bike up, went into the fair, found a couple of friends, were hanging around, going through the crowds here and there, having a good time. So as I went through one of the tents, the three kids were there, and one of them shoved one of them, Steve is his name, into me and bumped into me to instigate a situation. So I turn around and I'm like, what the fuck? And this one kid, one of the three kids, his name was Jamie. Jamie Comerford. Now, everyone watching this video right now is around my age, and they know exactly who Jamie Comerford was. He was jacked. He was a fucking psychopath. He was a wicked good athlete. I mean, I heard a rumor once that he was playing in a football game. He broke his arm in the first quarter and finished the game with the broken arm. This is the type of kid that I was dealing with. He was jacked. I was only 15. I think he was 17. So we square off, and I literally cracked him as hard as I could in his face. Like, I put my whole body into it. And I had a hard punch. And all he did was flinch and smiled at me. And I was like, oh, fuck. So I literally he threw a punch and missed. I grabbed him and literally body slammed him on the ground. And we started going at it. And before I knew it, 3 or 4 cops were pulling me off of him. 3 or 4 cops had him, and they put zip ties on us and threw us in the same police cruiser. So now, I've told this story before. So we're in the back of the police cruiser, and I'm talking shit. I was all fired up like an idiot. I was like, you're fucking dead, man. Meet me after school on Monday behind the buses. You're fucking dead. And he just was laughing at me. He goes, all right, man. All right, whatever. We're trying to kick each other. Our hands are tied behind our backs, and we're like trying to spit on each other, kick each other. And then finally they bring us to the Methuen Police Department. And this is where my father comes in. They put us through, we weren't arrested. It was they called it a PC back then. They still put us in, they made us take our shoes off, and so on. They put us in a holding cell. They put me in a holding cell, they put him in a holding cell, and they called our parents. Now, my poor father had to come down and get me. I think it was like 11 o'clock at night. And I vividly remember him talking to the police department, apologizing, thanking them for, not pressing charges and all that. And that long ride home, even though it was only like 4 miles away from the police department, we didn't say a single word. And when we got home, I just went to bed, and my father never said anything. The guy, once again, his son is reckless, and he didn't have anything to say. So I found out that Jamie had to stay overnight. He was 17, and he had to stay overnight before someone could come get him. So that was, I think, on a Friday night, if I remember correctly. That was so long ago, I can't believe I remember that. So Monday rolled around, and the talk around school was Jerry Blaze is going to fight Jamie Comerford behind the buses at 3:30. When the school lets out, 3 o'clock, 3:30. And man, I was thinking about that all fucking day. And I was hearing more stories about how fucking crazy Jamie was. And 3 o'clock rolled around, the bell rang, and I said, fuck that. I was not there. I pussied out. I didn't go for it. I'm not going to lie. That fucking kid was scary. One of the toughest kids in Methuen High at the time. So the story continues because I think it may have been a few months, 3 to 4 or 5 months later, I decided to join the gymnastics team. The Methuen High gymnastics team. I was something I wanted to do. I went down there. I signed up myself. I made the commitment. I talked to the coach, Mr. Molesso. Again, everyone will remember who he is. And my thing was the rings. I was going to do the rings. So about 2 or 3 days go by of practice. And it turns out Jamie Comerford is on the gymnastics team. And so it was very uncomfortable for a couple of days. And I had long hair. I was a punk. I worked out. I worked out. But that kid Jamie was fucking scary. So Mr. Molesso didn't really say anything to me at all. And one day, like 2 or 3 days later, Jamie came up to me and shook my hand. He said, "Hey man, let's put this behind us." Shook hands. And I was like, "All right, man, you got it. You got it." I didn't apologize. He didn't apologize. As two men, boys, we made amends for the sake of the team, and that was that. Mr. Molesso saw that, and he never said anything. So it's a perfect example. There's a couple of good examples in this story. One, don't be a stupid punk kid and cause trouble. 2, follow through on what you've made a commitment on. Don't be a pussy like I was back then. I just didn't want to get killed. And 3, despite your differences, like things going on now in the world with all the divisiveness, whatever, make amends. Like, find common ground for the sake of good. So, before I end this story, it's now been, I'm going on 59. I was 15. That's a lot of numbers since then. Every single time in my life since then that I meet somebody that knows Jamie Comerford, I said, "Hey, do me a favor. You tell him to fucking be behind the buses at Methuen High at 3:30, and I'm going to kick his ass." And it did get back to him a few times, and I guess from what I understand, he thought that was hilarious. So if any of you know Jamie, tell him I talked about this story, because he's not on social media. I can't find him or any of his family on there. So that's that. Happy Friday. Don't do stupid shit. I'll see you guys all soon. Get to the gym.